CIET NCERT presents the audiobook Curiosity, Textbook of Science for Class 6.
Chapter 3, page 35. Mindful Eating, A Path to a Healthy Body. Who is healthy? Who is healthy? Who is healthy? One who eats food that is wholesome in moderate quantities and appropriate for the season, time and place. A wise saying. Medhu and Mishti read Thought of the Day on the school notice board every day. On the left-hand side of the page is the image of two students, Medhu and Mishti, reading the thought for the day. Today's thought, Annena Jatani Jivanti, makes them curious. Mishti tells Medhu that it is a Sanskrit saying which means food gives life to living beings. Let us try to understand the significance of this saying. Section 3.1. What do we eat? Activity 3.1. Let us record. All of us eat food every day. Food is an essential component of our daily life. List the food items you have consumed over the week in Table 3.1, page 36. Table 3.1. Food items consumed over a week. In this table, there are two columns. The first column is the day of the week, and the second column is the food items. The days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are given. You have to fill the food items consumed by you on the respective days of the week. What observations can you make about your food from the data collected in Table 3.1? Do you eat the same kind of food in every meal, or do your choices vary? Compare your list with those prepared by your friends. Find similarities and differences in the food consumed by you and your friends. What did you find? Record your findings in your notebook. You may have noticed that there is a variety of food eaten by you and your friends. Do you think that such diversity in food exists in all states of our country? Section 3.1.1 Food in different regions. Activity 3.2 Let us explore. First, find out the types of food traditionally consumed and the crops grown in various states of India. You may refer to books in your library, search the internet, and interact with your friends, family, and neighbors to collect information. Page 37.2. In Table 3.2, add more states and fill the data collected. A few examples are already given. Table 3.2. Some traditional food items in various states of India. In this table, there are 4 columns. First, state. The second is the locally grown crops in the state. Third is traditional food items eaten in the state. And fourth is the beverage drunk in the state. Row 1, the state of Punjab. The locally grown crops include maize, wheat, chickpea, pulses. The traditional food items eaten in Punjab include makke di roti, sarson da saag, chole bhature, paratha, halwa, and kheer. The beverages drunk in Punjab include lassi, chhach, buttermilk, milk, and tea. Row 2, Karnataka. The locally grown crops in Karnataka include rice, ragi, urad, and coconut. Traditional food items eaten in Karnataka include idli, dosa, sambar, coconut chutney, ragi mudh, palya, rasam, rice. The beverages in Karnataka include buttermilk, coffee, and tea. Row 3, State Manipur. The locally grown crops in Manipur include rice, bamboo, soya bean. The traditionally eaten food items in Manipur include rice, eromba, chutney, utti, yellow peas and green onion curry, Singju, Kangsoi, and the beverages include black tea. Fill in the row below using the example from any other state. Don't forget to fill the columns of the state, the locally grown crop of the state, the traditionally food item eaten, and the beverage of the state. Why do we see diversity in traditional food consumed in various states of our country? Analyze the data collected by you in Table 3.2. Are there food items that are consumed across many states? Make a list of those food items. You may find that some food items are common in many states, while some are eaten only in a particular state. What relation do you find between the traditional food items and the locally grown crops? You must have observed that traditional food of any state is usually based on the crops grown in that state. India is an agricultural country with diverse soil and climate types. Various crops are grown in its different regions depending on the soil types and climatic conditions. In various regions of India, the choice of food may vary according to the cultivation of food crops in that particular region, taste preference, culture, and traditions. Page 38. Section 3.1.2. How have cooking practices changed over time? You have learned that food habits vary across states. Our food choices as well as practices of food preparation may differ from one another. Have our food habits and cooking practices changed over time? Activity 3.3. Let us interact and find out. First, prepare a list of questions for gathering information from elderly people about their food habits and cooking practices. Following are some of the sample questions, like what kind of food do you still eat and what is new? What are the changes in cooking practices over time? What has caused these changes? Second, conduct interviews with some elderly people based on the questions prepared. On the bottom of the page, there are 4 images. These images show how changes in cooking tools have taken place over time. In the first set, a lady is cooking food on a chula, traditional stove, and an image of a gas stove is also given. In the second set, a silbatta, traditional stone grinder, is given along with that of an electrical grinder. Page 39. What are your findings from the interviews you conducted? Cooking practices are also called culinary practices and have changed over time. There is a significant difference between traditional and modern culinary practices. Earlier, most of the cooking was done using a chulha. Nowadays, most of us cook using a modern gas stove. Earlier, most grinding was done manually using a silbatta. These days, we use an electrical grinder for ease of grinding. Find out what were the other ways of cooking and grinding. Why have these culinary practices changed over time? These changes may be due to factors such as technological development, improved transportation, and better communication. Section 3.2. What are the components of food? Medhu and Mishti visit the traditional food festival organized in their school. The theme of the festival is Eat Healthy, Live Healthy. On the bottom of the page, the image of a traditional food festival, Mela, is given. The theme of the food festival, Eat Healthy, Live Healthy, is also given. The image shows food stalls from various states like that of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Assam. The festival features various stalls displaying different kinds of traditional dishes. Dr. Poshita, a nutritional expert, explains to the students that health is the ultimate wealth. Page 40. Let us understand what Dr. Poshita means by this statement. Have you ever missed a meal? How do you feel when you miss a meal? We feel tired and less energetic when we do not eat for some time. Why do you think a marathon runner drinks glucose water during and after the race? On the left-hand side of the page is the image of a runner drinking glucose water after a race. Glucose provides instant energy. Glucose is an example of a carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are one of the primary sources of energy in our diet. Cereals like wheat, rice, maize, vegetables like potato and sweet potato, and fruits like banana, pineapple, and mango are some sources of carbohydrates. On the left side of the page is the image of various sources of carbohydrates such as bajra, rice, wheat, sweet potato, potato, sugarcane, banana, pineapple, mango, and maize. Do you know that common sugar is also a type of carbohydrate? Why do you think we prefer to have laddus as a part of our traditional diet in winters? On the right side of the page is an image of healthy laddus. Besan or wheat flour, atta, and ghee are among the main ingredients of laddus along with goond, edible gum, nuts, and seeds. Ghee and various kinds of oils are grouped under another kind of food component which is called fat. Sources of fats can be from plants or animals. Nuts such as groundnuts, walnuts, coconuts, and almonds, and seeds such as pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds are some common sources of fats. Fat is a source of stored energy. On the bottom left side of the page is the image of Medhu, a schoolboy, remembering what his grandmother told him about laddus. He says, "Yes, my grandma told me that laddus rich in ghee and nuts provide energy to keep us warm." Page 41. On the top of the page is the image of various sources of fats such as curd, almonds, cashew nuts, sesame seeds, soya bean, groundnut, walnut, sunflower seeds, pistachios, butter. Carbohydrates and fats provide us energy for performing various activities. Therefore, they are called energy-giving foods. Identify more food items that are rich sources of carbohydrates and fats. On the middle of the page is a box with the title More to Know. The box has a picture of a polar bear. Polar bears accumulate a lot of fat under their skin. This fat serves as an energy source. It supports them during their months-long winter sleep, hibernation, enabling them to survive without eating. Proteins are also an important part of our food. Milk products and pulses are good sources of protein. Sports persons need proteins in large quantities to build their muscles. People get their proteins from plants as well as animals. Some excellent plant sources of proteins are pulses, beans, peas, and nuts. Animal sources of proteins are milk, paneer, egg, fish, and meat. Protein-rich foods help in growth and repair of our body. These are therefore called body-building foods. On the bottom of the page are the images of various sources of proteins from plants and animals. Plant proteins include images of peas, gram, moong, tur dal, kidney beans, and soya beans. And the animal sources of protein include fish, chicken, milk, paneer, and eggs. Page 42. The right amount of protein must be included in the diet of growing children for their proper growth and development. Which of these food components are a part of your daily diet? On the top of the page is a box with the title More to Know. The box has pictures of mushrooms. Have you ever seen mushrooms? They grow mostly in dark and moist places. Edible mushrooms are good sources of proteins. Why do you think we are advised to include servings of fruits, vegetables, and other plant-based foods in our daily diet? Let us understand the importance of some other food components by reading the following two cases. In the middle of the page is a box with the title Case 1. The case is as follows. In earlier times, during long voyages, sailors often suffered from bleeding and swollen gums. During a voyage in 1746, Scottish physician James Lind observed that sailors who consumed lemons and oranges recovered from these symptoms. Bleeding and swollen gums are symptoms of a disease called scurvy. What do you interpret by reading case 1? What cures scurvy? Lemons and oranges help in curing scurvy. Scurvy is caused due to deficiency of vitamin C. Vitamin C, present in citrus fruits like lemons and oranges, helps in curing this disease. In the bottom of the page is a box with the title Case 2. The case is as follows. In the 1960s, Indian scientists found that among the human population in the Himalayan region and northern plains of India, symptoms of swelling at the front of the neck were prevalent. As per norms of the Government of India, an effort was made to supplement common salt with iodine for preparing iodized salt. Consumption of iodized salt visibly reduced the above symptoms. These symptoms were due to a deficiency of iodine in the soil of this region, resulting in a lack of iodine in the local food and water supply. Swelling at the front of the neck is a symptom of a disease called goiter. Page 43. What do you infer from case 2? You may have learned about iodized salt through newspapers, advertisements, or by reading about it on a salt packet. What does it mean? Iodized salt is simply common salt mixed with required quantities of salts of iodine. On the top of the page is a box with the title More to Know. The box has a picture of salt farming. Salt farming is a traditional practice of a tribal community named Agarias. They practice salt farming in the little run of Kutch and other parts of Gujarat. For 8 months, they live in the extreme heat of the desert and work very hard to get salt from seawater. How would you find out more about other food components that protect our body from various diseases? Activity 3.4. Let us conduct a survey. Before beginning this survey, let us study a chart given on page 44. The chart includes a table where there are 5 columns. The first column is the food component, vitamin or mineral. The second column is functions. The third column is some sources of the food component. The fourth column is the deficiency disease or disorder. And the fifth column includes the symptoms due to the deficiency disease or disorder of the vitamin or mineral. Row 1. The food component is vitamin A. Its functions include to keep the eyes and skin healthy. Some sources of vitamin A include papaya, carrot, mango, and milk. The deficiency disease arising from vitamin A is loss of vision. The symptoms include poor vision, loss of vision in darkness, night blindness, and sometimes complete loss of vision. Row 2. Vitamin B1. The function of vitamin B1 includes to keep the heart healthy and support body to perform various functions. Some sources of vitamin B1 include legumes, nuts, whole grains, seeds, and milk products. The deficiency disease or disorder of vitamin B1 is called beriberi. The symptoms include swelling, tingling, or burning sensation in feet and hands and trouble in breathing. Row 3. Vitamin C. The function of vitamin C includes to help fight the body diseases. Some sources of vitamin C include amla, guava, green chili, orange, and lemon. The deficiency disease or disorder due to vitamin C is called scurvy. The symptoms of scurvy include bleeding gums, slow healing of wounds. Row 4. Vitamin D. The function of vitamin D is to help body absorb calcium for bone and teeth health. The sources include exposure to sunlight, milk, butter, fish, and eggs. The deficiency disease of vitamin D is called rickets. The symptom includes soft and bent bones. Row 5. Calcium. The function of calcium is to keep the bones and teeth healthy. The sources of calcium include milk, soya milk, curd, cheese, paneer. The deficiency disorder due to lack of calcium includes bone and tooth decay, and the symptoms include weak bones and tooth decay. Row 6. Iodine. Iodine helps to perform physical and mental activities. The source of iodine includes seaweed, water chestnut, singhada, and iodized salt. The deficiency disease of iodine is called goiter. The symptom of goiter includes swelling at the front of the neck. Row 7. Iron. The function of iron is that it is an important component of the blood. The source of iron includes green leafy vegetables, beetroot, and pomegranate. The deficiency of iron leads to anemia. The symptom of anemia is weakness, shortness of breath. Now let us perform the activity. Point 1. Study the chart to explore the functions and sources of various food components. Find out more sources of vitamins and minerals. Also, understand the symptoms of the disease caused by the lack of these food components. Second, visit your neighborhood, interact with people, and find out if any individual shows the symptoms listed on the chart. An investigatory project of this kind can be taken by the students under the guidance of a teacher. Third, correlate these symptoms with their diet and identify the deficiency diseases or disorders. Fourth, suggest the possible causes for the symptoms observed and the changes required in the diet for improvement. Fifth, suggest them to visit a doctor for further advice. Page 45. You have learned that vitamins A, B1, C, and D, and minerals, calcium, iodine, and iron are two groups of food components that protect our body from various diseases. But how can we overcome vitamin and mineral deficiency or disorders? On the center of the page are the images of various sources of vitamin A, such as mango, milk, papaya, and carrot. Also mentioned are sources of vitamin B1 like flax seeds, wheat, milk, paneer, pumpkin seeds, and rice. Sources of vitamin C are also given in the image. It includes amla, tomato, orange, guava, green chili, and lemon. The sources of vitamin D given in the image include eggs, edible mushroom, butter, and fish. Food components that provide energy, support growth, help repair and protect our body from diseases, and maintain various bodily functions are called nutrients. The major nutrients in our food include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. Vitamins and minerals are also called protective nutrients. These nutrients protect our body from diseases and keep us healthy. Your parents may have advised you to have milk and green vegetables, fruits, and whole grains regularly. Page 46. These food items are some sources of vitamins and minerals. Although vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts, they are essential to keep our body healthy. What differences do you observe in raw and cooked vegetables? Have you ever noticed that vegetables sometimes lose their bright color or become softer and less crisp when cooked. Some nutrients like vitamin C and others are lost during cooking due to high heat. Would it not be wise to include fruits and uncooked vegetables in our diet? Washing, cut, or peeled vegetables and fruits may also result in the loss of some vitamins. However, it is highly recommended that all fruits and vegetables must be thoroughly washed before consumption. On the center of the page is the image showing a conversation between Medhu and Mishti. Medhu says, "Do we obtain all nutrients from plants and animals?" Mishti replies, "No, Medhu. Nutrients like salt can be obtained from seawater or from rocks." Mishti then adds, "Also, vitamin D can be naturally produced by our body upon exposure to sunlight." There is also a picture of a small boy sunbathing. Fruits and vegetables are rich in dietary fibers. Let us see how dietary fibers are beneficial to us. In addition to essential nutrients, our body needs dietary fibers and water. Dietary fibers, also known as roughage, do not provide any nutrients to our body. However, they are an essential component of our food. They help our body get rid of undigested food and ensure smooth passage of stools. Roughage in our food is also provided mainly by suitable plant products. Page 47. Green leafy vegetables, fresh fruits, whole grains, pulses and nuts are good sources of roughage. Eating food that is locally grown and plant-based to the extent possible is not only healthy for the body but is also good for our environment and planet. On the top right side of the page is the image of Medhu remembering what his grandmother faced. He says, "My grandma has difficulty in passing stool. Now I understand why the doctor advised her to eat food that is high in fiber." Water is also an essential part of our diet. It helps the body absorb nutrients from food. It removes waste from the body through sweat and urine. We should drink sufficient water regularly to keep ourselves healthy. On the left side of the page is a question box. What are the food sources that provide water to the body? List a few of them. In the bottom of the page is a box with the title, "Know a Scientist." Kolathur Gopalan, 1918 to 2019, initiated nutrition research in India. He analyzed more than 500 Indian foods for their nutritional value and recommended an appropriate diet in the Indian context. He led surveys on the nutritional status of the Indian population, identifying widespread deficiencies in protein, energy, and other food components. This led to the implementation of the midday meal program in 2002, now a PM Poshan initiative, to provide balanced food in the government-run and government-aided schools of our country. This scheme has played a role in improving the health and nutrition of millions of children nationwide. Page 48. Section 3.3. How to test different components of food. Let us find out which nutrients are present in various food items. Some nutrients like starch, a type of carbohydrate, fat and protein can be detected using fairly simple tests, while others can be detected only in a well-equipped laboratory. Let us explore how can we detect the presence of starch, fat, and protein in some food items. In order to do this, we will take the help of Table 3.3 to write our observations. Table 3.3 is on page 51. Table 3.3. Exploring nutrients present in various foods. This table, which we will use for the experiments and activity, has 7 columns. The first column is the name of the food. The second column is the color of the food item for the starch test. This is further subdivided into before the iodine test and after the iodine test. The third column, oily patch for fat test. This column is further subdivided into prediction, yes or no, observation, yes or no. Fourth column, color of the food item for protein tests, is further subdivided into before protein test, after protein test. The fifth column, starch present, yes or no. Sixth column, fat present, yes or no. Seventh column, protein present, yes or no. Row 1, potato. Based on the experiment that you will conduct in the activity below, fill in the answers in the table. The rows include row 1 potato, row 2 cucumber, row 3 boiled rice, row 4 boiled gram, row 5 peanuts, row 6 bread or chapati, row 7 butter, row 8 coconut. And in the 9th row, you can use any food example from around you. Section 3.3.1 Test for starch. Activity 3.5 Let us investigate. Take a small quantity of the food item such as a slice of potato, cucumber, bread, some boiled rice, boiled gram, crushed peanuts, oil, butter and crushed coconut. You can take other food items too for testing. In the middle of the page is an image of 2 students performing an experiment wearing a lab coat. They are testing for the presence of starch in various food items. 2. Place a small piece of each item on a separate dish. 3. With the help of a dropper, put 2 to 3 drops of diluted iodine solution on each food item. 4. Observe if there are any changes in the color of the food items. Have they turned blue-black? Record your observations in table 3.3. A blue-black color indicates the presence of starch. Page 49. Section 3.3.2 Test for fats. Activity 3.6. Let us investigate. 1. Take a small part of the food item that you tested for in the presence of starch in activity 3.5. 2. Place each food item on a separate piece of paper. 3. Wrap the paper around the food and press it. Be careful not to tear the paper. 4. If any food item contains a little water, allow the paper to dry. Does the paper develop an oily patch? What do you think is the reason for this patch? If oil or butter is present in the food item, it leaves an oily patch on the paper. Now hold the paper against light. Can you see the light faintly shining through this patch? An oily patch on the paper shows the food item contains fat. Which of these items contains fat? Record your observations in table 3.3. Section 3.3.3 Test for proteins. Activity 3.7 Let us investigate. This activity may be demonstrated by the teacher. In the bottom of the page is a box with the title Precaution. These are the common precautions that we must follow when we are working in the science laboratory. The first precaution is these chemicals are harmful and need to be handled with care. Do not touch any of these chemicals unless asked to do so. Second, if any chemical gets spilled on your body, immediately wash the affected area with water. Third, do not put any of these chemicals into your mouth or try to smell them. First, take the food item tested in previous activities. Second, make a paste or powder of the food items using a pestle and mortar. Third, put about half a teaspoon of each food item in a separate clean tube. Page 54. Add 2 to 3 teaspoons of water to each test tube and shake them well. Fifth, add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution to each test tube using a dropper. 6. Now take another dropper and add 10 drops of caustic soda solution to each tube. 7. Shake well and leave the test tubes undisturbed for a few minutes. In the middle of the page is an image of a teacher and 2 students performing the experiments wearing lab coats. They are testing for the presence of proteins in various food items like bread, rice, peanuts, peas, and soya bean. They have a pestle and mortar with them on the table. They also have test tubes, copper sulfate solution, and caustic soda. What did you observe? Did the content of some test tubes turn violet? This violet color indicates the presence of proteins in the food item. Write your observations in table 3.3. What conclusions can you draw from table 3.3? Which food items shows the presence of more than one nutrient? Which food item shows the presence of both proteins and fats? Peanuts show the presence of both proteins and fats. This indicates that any food which we eat may contain multiple nutrients. Is there a food item that lacks any of these nutrients? Which of these foods do you consume daily? Try to find out other food that are good sources of starch, fats, and proteins. Page 51, section 3.4, Balanced Diet. Are nutritional requirements the same for everyone? Do you and your grandparents need the same type or the same amount of nutrients? Requirements of the type and amount of nutrients in a diet may vary according to age, gender, physical activity, health status, lifestyle, and so on. Activity 3.8. Let us find out. You have listed food consumed by you during the week in activity 3.1. Check whether your food contains all the nutrients and other essential components necessary for growth and development. If not, check which nutrients or other food components need to be added. A diet that has all essential nutrients, roughage, and water in the right amount for proper growth and development of the body is known as a balanced diet. What changes would you make in your diet to make it a balanced diet? Page 52, Activity 3.9. Let us compare. Read the nutritional value given for a packet of potato wafers and a packet of roasted chana. In the middle of the page, 2 images are given, one of potato wafers and the other of roasted chana. The nutritional information per 100 grams of potato wafers is energy 536 kilocalories, fat 35 grams, carbohydrates 53 grams, proteins 7 grams, dietary fiber 4.8 grams. Nutritional information per 100 grams of roasted chana includes energy 355 kilocalories, fats 6.26 grams, carbohydrates 58.58 grams, proteins 18.64 grams, dietary fiber 16.8 grams. Based on the nutritional information on the food packets given above, which food would you choose? Why? Some foods have high calories due to high sugar and fat content. Moreover, they contain very low amounts of proteins, minerals, vitamins, and dietary fibers. These foods are called junk foods. These foods include potato wafers, candy bars, and carbonated drinks. Consuming these foods frequently is not good, as these are not healthy for our body. They make a person obese. Such a person may suffer from several health problems. You should always remember Dr. Poshita's statement, health is the ultimate wealth. We should take care of our body to stay healthy. Eating a balanced diet and avoiding junk food contributes towards a healthy body. Good health is essential for leading a happy life. Page 53. Which of the two foods you studied in Activity 3.9 could be labeled as junk food? On the top of the page is a box with the title, More to Know. The box has a picture of the logo of FSSAI, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Packaged food items must have information about nutrients on their cover. The information should list the amount of each nutrient. Sometimes, more nutrients are added to the food during processing, fortification, to improve its nutritional quality. Iodized salt and some baby foods are examples of fortified foods. The Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, FSSAI, is a government agency that regulates food quality in India. Section 3.5 Millets, nutrition-rich cereals. You may have heard of jowar, bajra, ragi, and sanwa. On the bottom right of the page is a picture of sanwa or barnyard millet. These are native crops of India. They can be easily cultivated in different climatic conditions. These highly nutritious grains are also called millets. Have you ever had food items made from these millets? Millets are small-sized grains and have been an integral part of the Indian diet for centuries. They have regained popularity due to their numerous health benefits. They are good sources of vitamins, minerals like iron and calcium, and dietary fibers as well. That is the reason they are also called nutri-cereals. They contribute significantly to a balanced diet required for the normal functioning of our body. Page 54, Section 3.6 Food Miles, from farm to our plate. How does food reach from a farm to our plate? What are the steps involved in this process? Who are the people involved in this process? Do you know how much time and effort is required to get the wheat flour once seed grains germinate in the farm? Let us look at a figure to understand the entire process of making the chapati that we eat. On the middle of the page is an image that tells the story of a chapati from the farm to the plate. The first stage is the farmer growing wheat. The next is the threshing and winnowing of grains. This third stage is storage of the food grains. The fourth stage is grinding the grains and packing it. The fifth stage is to transport the grains to the retail shop. And the sixth stage shows the image of the food on our plate. The entire distance traveled by a bag of wheat or any other food item from the producer to the consumer is known as its food miles. Reducing food miles is important because it helps to cut down the cost and pollution during its transport. It helps support local farmers and it also helps keep our food fresher and healthier. Page 55. Many people waste food, leaving it unconsumed on their plates. One must remember the time and effort put by our farmers and other community members in getting the food from the farm to our plate. We must take only as much as food as we can consume. It would reduce food wastage. Try to find the timeline for the various processes involved in getting the food from farm to the plate. On the right side of the page is a question box. How would eating local food help reduce food miles? Eat healthy, share and respect food, support local producers. Key words from this chapter include carbohydrate, culinary practices, deficiency diseases, fats, food components, food miles, iodized salts, millets, minerals, nutrients, proteins, rickets, roughage, scurvy, vitamins. Analyze, compare, infer, interpret, investigate, observe, prediction, survey. Summary of the key points. First, people across India eat diverse types of food containing various food components. Second, choice of food may vary according to the cultivation of food crops in a region, taste preference, culture and traditions, and so on. Page 56. Third, culinary practices have changed over time. There is a significant difference between traditional and modern methods of cooking. Fourth, food provides us energy, supports growth, repairs our bodies, and protects us from diseases. Fifth, the major nutrients in our food are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. In addition, food also contains dietary fibers and water. Sixth, carbohydrates and fats are primary energy sources, while proteins are body-building nutrients. Seventh, vitamins and minerals strengthen our body, protect us from infection, and keep us healthy. Eighth, a balanced diet provides the essential nutrients in the right quantities, along with adequate roughage and water. Ninth, deficiency of one or more nutrients in our diet for a long time can lead to deficiency diseases and disorders. 10th, junk foods are unhealthy as they contain high levels of sugar and fats, but little protein, minerals, vitamins, and dietary fibers. 11th, millets are known as nutri-cereals as they provide most of our nutrients required for the normal functioning of our bodies. They can be easily cultivated in different climatic conditions. 12. Eating food that is locally grown and plant-based to the extent possible is not only healthy for our bodies but is also good for our environment and our planet. 13. The distance traveled by a food item from the place of its production to the consumer is called food miles. We must aim to minimize food miles. 14. We should never waste food and only take as much as we can consume. Let us enhance our learning. Question 1. Pick the odd one out and give reasons. Jawar, bajra, ragi, chana. Second, kidney beans, green gram, soya bean, rice. Page 57. Question 2. Discuss traditional versus modern culinary practices in India. Question 3. A teacher says that good food may act as medicine. Ravi is curious about this statement and has some questions for his teacher. List at least 2 questions that he can ask. Question 4. Not all delicious foods are necessarily healthy, while not all nutritious foods are always enjoyable. Share your thoughts along with a few examples. Question 5. Medhu does not eat vegetables but enjoys biscuits, noodles, and white bread. He often has stomach ache and constipation. What changes should he make in his diet to get rid of these problems? Explain your answer. Reshma has trouble seeing things in dim light. The doctor tested her eyesight and prescribed a particular vitamin supplement. He also advised her to include a few food items in her diet. First, which deficiency disease is she suffering from? Second, which food component may be lacking in her diet? Third, suggest some food items that she should include in her diet to overcome this problem. Question 7. You are provided the following. Option 1, canned fruit juice. Option 2, fresh fruit juice. Option 3, fresh fruit. Which one would you prefer and why? Question 8. Gaurav got a fracture in his leg. His doctor aligned the bones and put on a plaster. The doctor also gave him calcium tablets. On the second visit, the doctor gave him vitamin D syrup along with calcium tablets. Answer the following questions. Why did the doctor give calcium tablets to Gaurav? On the second visit, why did the doctor give vitamin D syrup along with calcium tablets? What question arises in your mind about the choices made by the doctor in giving the medicine? Page 58. Question 9. Sugar is an example of carbohydrates. Sugar is tested with iodine solution, but it does not change to blue-black color. What can be a possible reason? Question 10. What do you think of Raman's statement? All starches are carbohydrates, but not all carbohydrates are starches. Describe the design of an activity to test your answer. Question 11. While using iodine in the laboratory, a few drops of iodine fell on Mishti's socks and a few fell on her teacher's sari. The drops of iodine on the sari turned blue-black, while the color on the socks did not change. What can be a possible reason? Question 12. Why are millets considered a healthy choice of food? Can eating just millets suffice for the nutritional requirements of the body? Discuss. Question 13. You are given a sample of a solution. How would you check the possibility of it being an iodine solution? Learning further. 1. Help your mother in unpacking the packets of various food items after shopping for grocery next time. Read the nutritional information of at least 3 fortified food items and analyze those. 2. The Apathani tribe of Arunachal Pradesh produces a salt called tapeo to fulfill their dietary requirements. Collect more information from the internet about their salt-making process and the need to make their own salt. Collect pictures and paste them on a chart paper. Also write a paragraph about the process of making this salt and its usefulness. 3. Vegetables or fruits that grow naturally in the forests or nearby fields without being cultivated by farmers are considered wild varieties. Traditionally, many tribal groups in India depend on these wild varieties, which form a part of their food. Read about ran bhajis from Maharashtra and edible mushrooms from Himachal Pradesh. Are you aware of any such wild variety of food from your region? Discuss in class. Page 59. 4. List junk foods you eat frequently. Ask your friends also to make such a list. On the basis of these lists, write a letter to your principal requesting to ban certain junk foods inside the school campus. Suggest some healthy options. 5th. Find out the variation of nutritional requirements of different individuals based on age, physical activity, and health conditions. Record your observations, discuss and analyze. 6th. Prepare a diet chart to provide a balanced diet to a 12-year-old child. The diet chart should include food items that are not expensive and are commonly available in your area. End of chapter 3.
Curiosity. You were just listening to this audiobook, Textbook of Science for Class 6. Narration, Dr. Pranita Gopal. Technical coordination, Bati Langlingdo. Sound recordist, Virendra Rawat. Assistance in production, Muhammad Shamim Khan. Directed and produced by Vimlesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.